She's not here. What is that? 411 what?
11.
41111, right? Apologize, people online, devotees online. I'm sorry. Some problem. Technical problem. Yeah, it's already there.
Yeah, it's very important.
Yeah. Jaya. ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमस्ते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमः। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं। परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम्। So we will discuss today from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto number 4, text number, Canto number 4, chapter 11, text number 11. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sarvabhutatma Bhavena Bhutavasam Harim Bhavan Aradhyapa Duraradhyam Vishnustat-paramam padam Sarvabhutatma Bhavena Bhutavasam Harim Bhavan Aradhyapa Duraradhyam Vishnustat-paramam padam. Sarvabhutatma Bhavena Bhutavasam Harim Bhavan Aradhya Bhutarada Vishnustat-paramam padam Sarvabhutatma Bhavena Bhutavasam Harim Bhavan Aradhyapa Duraradhyam Vishnustat-paramam padam. Sarva Bhuta, in all living entities. Atma, upon the super soul. Bhavena, with meditation. Bhuta, of all existence. Avasam, the abode. Harim, Lord Hari. Bhavan, you. Aradhya, by worshipping. Apa, have achieved. Duraradhyam, very difficult to propitiate. Vishnu, of Lord Vishnu. Tat, that. Paramam, supreme. Padam, situation. Translation purport by His Divine Grace. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. It is very difficult to achieve the spiritual abode of Hari in the Vaikuntha planets, but you are so fortunate that you are already destined to go to that abode by worshipping Him as the supreme abode of all living entities. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The material bodies of all living entities cannot exist unless sheltered by the spirit soul and the super soul. The spirit soul is dependent on the super soul, who is present even within the atom. Therefore, since anything material or spiritual is completely dependent on the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Lord is referred to here as Bhutavasa. Dhruva Maharaj, as a Kshatriya, would have argued with his grandfather Manu when Manu requested him to stop fighting. But even though Dhruva could have argued that as a Kshatriya, it was his duty to fight with the enemy, he was informed that since every living entity is a residence of the Supreme Lord and can be considered a temple of the Lord, the unnecessary killing of any living entity is not permitted. Again, Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave. So I have no qualification or any realization, but I just want to repeat the words of the previous acharyas so that we can bathe in the flow of their realization. Prabhupada says, Tyaktva turnam asesha mandalapati shrinim sada tuchchavat bhutva dina ganeshako kopina kantashrito gopi bhava rasamrita abdilahari kallola magno mohur vande rupa sanatano ravyugo Sri Jiva Gopalaka. So the six Goswamis, although they were Tyaktva Turnam Asesha Mandala Pati, that they were very wealthy and from very affluent background, from very affluent situation, but Tyaktva Turnam, they very quickly they completely rejected all this and they became mendicant and they accepted Kopina Kanthashrito. They just wearing little cloth on their body. But this is external. But actually, what was their situation? Gopi Bhavarasam Abdilahari Kallola Magno. They were always merging in the waves of the nectarian ocean of the gopis' love for Krishna. So that is their situation, and so as humble servants of the servants of the servants of the six Goswamis, by repeating their words, by repeating the words of their beloved associate, we get a chance to also taste that nectar. So actually, as devotees, our only business is to taste nectar. Our only business is to relish the nectar. Prabhupada says that just like a tortoise, the way the tortoise actually brings up its offspring is just by meditation. So the tortoise, after laying the eggs, actually just meditates on the eggs, and by meditating, its offspring grow up. The same way, by meditating, Prabhupada said, by meditating on the Supreme Lord Krishna, we reach the abode of Krishna. So here the Supreme Lord is referred to as Bhutavasa, which means the Supreme Lord is the shelter of everything, material or spiritual. Everything is sheltered by the Supreme Lord. Everything in the material and spiritual world has a component of the Supreme Lord and his internal energies. So the first point here is to see that every living entity is a temple of the Supreme Lord. So when we see every living entity as a temple of the Supreme Lord, then naturally we pay respect to everyone. We pay respect to everyone. It's like Prabhupada said, the Paramahamsa is very expert, that the Paramahamsa knows how to distinguish matter from spirit. That is called Paramahamsa. So if you give a swan a mixture of water and milk, the swan will eject, or the swan will separate the water and only consume the milk. So in the same way, we as devotees following the footsteps of Paramahamsas have to learn how to discard the material aspect of this material world and only accept the spiritual part. So that can only be done by taking shelter and by being dependent on the Supreme Lord. It's like, what is the best example? The best example is Ambarish Maharaj. What is the difference between, I mean, I'm speaking for myself, what is the difference between a neophyte devotee and an advanced devotee? The difference is that a neophyte devotee, he is not so much expert in utilizing his time to serve Krishna. And a neophyte devotee may get caught up in the petty troubles or petty issues of this world. But an advanced devotee is very expert, knowing how to always keep his mind engaged in the spiritual substance, because Krishna is the active principle. Krishna is the governing principle. Krishna is the most powerful principle in this material world. Krishna's arrangement is a perfect arrangement. Krishna's law will never fail. So the more we become Krishna conscious, the more we'll be in touch with Krishna. And the more we'll be in touch with Krishna, naturally, we will be victorious. Wherever there is Krishna, there is victory. And victory does not just mean victory in our material activities, but victory means victory in our spiritual activities. So, Ambarish Maharaj, this is an extreme example, but Bhagavatam is full of extraordinary examples to show what is the mind of a pure devotee. So Ambarish Maharaj, even though he was cursed, even though he was cursed by Durvas Muni, even at that moment, he did not forget Krishna. He did not forget Krishna. And what to speak of forgetting Krishna, he didn't even blame Durvas Muni for what he did. Because that is the way the mind works. As soon as you start blaming someone, you start criticizing someone in the mind, then we fail to take shelter of the Supreme Lord. So Ambarish Maharaj is an extreme example that even during that whole episode that he created the demon, and made the demon chase Ambarish Maharaj, then finally Durvas Muni, the Sudarshan Chakra came and finally chased Durvas Muni all the way to Vaikuntha. Then after that, Durvas Muni again, upon Vishnu's advice, he came back to Ambarish Maharaj, fell at his feet. The whole time, Ambarish Maharaj was fully conscious of Krishna. So this is the test of a pure devotee. And same thing Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj also, when he was troubled, Prahlad Maharaj did not become frustrated. Prahlad Maharaj did not become agitated, but rather Prahlad Maharaj was just Krishna conscious. And Krishna did everything actually. It's mentioned that when Prahlad was put, you know, uh, thrown in fire, the fire became as cold as ice. So that's the power. Krishna. Krishna can do and undo things. Krishna's arrangement is perfect. And Krishna's protection is perfect. So as a devotee, all we have to do is we just have to take shelter of Krishna. We have to take shelter of Krishna. So when we understand that everyone and everything is a shelter of the Supreme Lord, we respect everyone, uh, and at the same time we deal according to everyone's level of surrender to the Supreme Lord. We deal accordingly. Someone who is fully surrendered to the Supreme Lord, then we surrender to that person. So someone who is not surrendered, we keep a distance. Why? Because if we associate with that person, then Maya will act on us. Everyone at every point is conducting the spiritual energy and conducting the material energy. So to whatever extent someone is surrendered to Krishna, to that extent that person is conducting the spiritual energy. And to whatever extent one is not surrendered to Krishna, he is conducting the material energy. So both will have its effect. So intelligence means to take shelter and to be in touch with those who are completely under the internal energy of the Lord. So that is intelligence. That is intelligence. So the most powerful thing in Krishna consciousness is actually Vaishnava Seva. Raghunath Das Goswami, who is actually one of the most intimate associates of Srimati Radharani, Raghunath Das Goswami, his journey in Krishna consciousness, of course, he's a eternally liberated soul, but uh, he performed pastimes in this world for our instruction. And in this world, Raghunath Das Goswami's journey, at least according to Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami, started with the mercy of Lord Nityananda Prabhu. And how did he get the mercy of Lord Nityananda Prabhu? By serving the devotees. So this is a very, very important principle, that if we can serve devotees, our progress in Krishna consciousness will be very, very rapid. And not only will it be rapid, but Krishna will be so kind to us that Krishna will tell us the obstacle before the obstacle comes. We will be warned. What is the main benefit? What is the main benefit of actually serving the devotees? The main benefit is we become free from Vaishnava Aparadha. And not only become free from Vaishnava Aparadha, but we become conscious of how to please Krishna. So when the mind is always conscious of how to please Krishna, then where is the question of aparadh? Where is the question of Vaishnava Aparadha? Where is the question of, you know, offenses to the deity, offenses to the holy name, offenses to anyone practically? So this kind of consciousness develops in the mind of someone who has gotten the blessings of Guru and the Vaishnavas. And it manifests in the form of refined dealings. An exalted devotee or a devotee who has received the mercy of the Lord, his dealings are very refined. He does not behave, forgive me, but he does not behave like an animal. He behaves very carefully, very meticulously. He behaves with persons. And this Vaishnav Seva can be done in so many ways. Vaishnav Seva does not mean you have to physically go and give the Vaishnav Prasad, or that's not the only way. Just sometimes on words of encouragement. Sometimes some devotee may be going through a very frustrating time in his life, right? Because after all, we are seeing this material nature, and it's not so easy to deal with this material nature. So at that time, if you just give a ear, like a listening ear to a devotee, it can help the devotee. Sometimes just speaking some words of encouragement, sometimes giving some prasad, sometimes speaking to him something about Krishna. So there are so many ways we can actually serve a devotee, and that service to devotees will nourish our bhakti, and will help us to make progress in bhakti. What is actually success in bhakti? Success in bhakti does not mean that we become like a computer. When the computer, if you enter something, immediate result will come. So success does not mean that we do everything perfectly like a robot. No. Success means our devotion becomes more and more intense, more and more intense. Just like Srila Prabhupada, according to mundane perspective, when Srila Prabhupada started preaching the message of Lord Chaitanya, nobody cared for him. Nobody cared for his message. But what was Prabhupada's consciousness? So this is the fruit of pleasing the devotees, pleasing the Guru. Prabhupada achieved such a taste for the holy name that in Radha Damodar temple, one devotee, one pujari is recounting that Prabhupada used to come once in a while and Prabhupada would chant. uh, and Prabhupada would chant for continuously 6, 7, 8 hours. And Prabhupada would constantly have tears in his eyes. And at the end, Prabhupada will thank the pujari that thank you so much. Very grateful that you're allowing me to come here and allowing me to chant the holy name. So look at that consciousness. That is a success. That is a success. Once we attain that consciousness, then uh, we can actually preach. What is preaching? Preaching means actually spreading our realization, sharing our realization, and ultimately inviting others to put faith on this realization. Like Prabhupada's realization is that Krishna mm, is the abode of unlimited attraction and bliss. And therefore, serving Krishna is the only way we can survive in this world. That's Prabhupada's realization that the only way a living entity can survive is by serving Krishna. Otherwise, you cannot survive. That is how much realization Prabhupada had. And what Prabhupada said, serving Krishna means serving Krishna is very easy, very happy, and very ecstatic. Not serving Krishna is miserable, is nonsense, is horrible. This is Prabhupada's realization. If you read Prabhupada's purports, everywhere you see Prabhupada says immediately. As soon as you start chanting, immediately you become transcendental, immediately become liberated. Everywhere Prabhupada is saying like that only. So that's Prabhupada's realization. And Prabhupada is inviting us, come and put faith in that and act on that, isn't it? So that's a pure devotee. A pure devotee gives an unflinching faith in the highest thing. So that is the thing. It's like Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna is telling Arjun, and Arjun, by killing your relative, you will please me. And that is the best thing. You should do it. According to mundane conception, what he's doing is abominable. Killing is an abominable activity. Like even if you want to, sometimes, in the altar or somewhere, we have to, sometimes kill insects or something for the pleasure of the Lord. And then we chant Hare Krishna and we beg the Lord that please forgive me, please bless this living entity so that this living entity can, ultimately can go back to Godhead. So we feel so bad, but here Arjun is killing, you know, uh, people. Some of them were his teachers, but Krishna is inviting him that no, um, just do it on my behalf. Actually, Krishna is saying, I've already killed them. You are just my instrument. Nimitta matram bhave savisachi. So that is the power of a pure devotee. A pure devotee can drag you to that level of realization. And if we have that unflinching faith in a pure devotee, then the pure devotee can actually enter our heart. Actually, it's very powerful. It's very powerful. Pure devotees are very, very powerful. Very, very powerful. Because they have this realization that they can see Stavar Jangam dekhe, na dekhe Taramurti. They don't see Stavar Jangam, they don't see, stationary and moving entities. Na dekhe, they don't see the covering at all. What do they see? Sarvatra Hridayesh Nija Ishta Deva Murti. Sarvata Sure Nijatar Ishta Deva Murti. So pure devotees, they see the Lord everywhere, and therefore they are able to always be Krishna conscious. So it's like Prabhupada is the best example that Srila Prabhupada, when Prabhupada was present on the planet, Prabhupada had that incredible potency. I mean, Prabhupada has eternally that incredible potency to just make someone in a split of a second become madly attracted to Krishna. Like in Vrindavan, we hear some stories. Like there's one devotee called Rasa Khan. You know, so he one time he saw the face of Govinda, Radha Govinda Dev, and he just became mad. So in Vrindavan, we hear few, but in the case of Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada did that practically to everyone. Prabhupada just kind of cast a spell on everyone, just made them mad. And they had no idea what they were doing. They just came to the temple, few weeks ago, they were drunk, they were this, they were that. After a few weeks, completely changed, completely mad in ecstasy. Next thing you know, they are distributing books, they are giving classes, they're doing everything. So that's the power of a pure devotee. And but there's also one more side to it, is also very important. We glorify Srila Prabhupada's potency, which is there, but at the same time, also the devotees also were very reciprocative. So this is what we can learn from Prabhupada disciples, that as we progress in Krishna consciousness, we need to develop a more detailed understanding of the process of Krishna consciousness. And along with the understanding, we need to develop love and attraction for Srila Prabhupada and for the representative of Srila Prabhupada. Only if we become submissive, subservient to those pure devotees, can we uh, feel the current of mercy coming through the parampara. Actually, realization means what? Realization means to feel that current of mercy. How it will come, when it will come, we don't know, but it will come for sure. We know that. We know that. One of the qualities of someone who is very serious on the path of Krishna consciousness is he always expects Krishna's mercy. He always expects. This is a very important quality. So in the same way, we should always expect the mercy of a pure devotee. Shyamananda Pandit, we're recently celebrating his disappearance day. So Shyamananda Pandit, he was sweeping the grove of Braj, and he's speaking when he was sweeping the grove of Braj, of course, you know, what is the need to sweep the grove of Braj? Because in Braj everything is, what is it? Braj Raj is actually, wish fulfilling. So some devotees, when they go to Vrindavan, they actually roll in the dust. So Braj Raj is so powerful. What is the need to clean? No, but Jiva Goswami gave him that order, and he followed that order with so much enthusiasm, with so much eagerness. Actually, that is bhakti. Bhakti means whether I feel enthusiastic or not, if I try to follow the order of the superior with enthusiasm, with determination, if I try to follow, then in course of time, everything will come. Everything will come. So Shyamananda Pandit was sweeping Vamsivat area, and eventually, by causeless mercy, Radharani left her anklet, and of course, so many of these pastimes happen all the time. But he had the vision to see that. He had the vision to see that, and he had the intelligence to do what he did. What did he do? He took the anklet, he kept with him. Next day, Lalita Devi came in the disguise of a small girl and said, of course, there are many different versions of this pastime. This is the version of the pastime I heard from His Holiness Indrumna Maharaj. So, she came. She said, my sister, yesterday, she was playing and she lost her anklet. So, can you please return it? Shyamananda Pandit said, no, no. First, you have to show me the other anklet because this is a very precious anklet. How can I give away such a precious anklet? And of course, needless to say, that anklet, just by touching, just by seeing that anklet, Shamananda, Dukhi Krishna Das, he manifested all the ecstatic symptoms and, whatnot. So Laldev became very upset. He said, no, you have to give it to me. Shamananda said, no. So Lalita Devi said, okay. Finally, Lalita Devi made him take bath in a particular kund in Braj, and he got the form of a youthful form of a Kishori Gopi, and he personally was taken to Srimati Radharani, and personally he put that anklet in the feet of Radharani, and Srimati Radharani marked uh, his forehead with special tilak, gave him a special deity of Krishna, and gave him a special instruction to teach this process, Krishna consciousness process, to people in general. So, this is the power of simple, humble service when done with proper mood, with done with proper understanding, proper sentiment. That is the power. It's very, very powerful. It's very, very powerful. Krishna consciousness is very powerful. So, yeah, we need to be very, very enthusiastic about this process, because this process, whether our mind is convinced, whether our heart is convinced, this process will never fail, will never fail. And the purpose of the acharyas is slowly and slowly to bring us to absolute platform. Absolute platform. Absolute platform will never fail, actually. Absolute platform is actually Shravanam Kirtanam, Smaranam Vandanam. So these principles of bhakti will never ever fail us. If we keep doing them sincerely, it will never fail. But the purpose of acharyas and the purpose of devotees is actually to teach us how to attain to that absolute platform. So it is very important to understand that Krishna consciousness is not something which is attained. It is something which is awarded. It is something which is awarded. So gradually, as we increase our connection to the pure devotees of the Lord, to the extent that we are connected to a pure devotee, to that extent we can actually feel his love for the Supreme Lord. And to the extent that we can feel his love for the Supreme Lord, to that extent we can also be influenced by that love, and we can experience that transformation in the heart, that I want to be a servant of Krishna. I want to be part of Krishna's world. So that is ISKCON. ISKCON means, actually, the real mission of ISKCON by Srila Prabhupada is actually to establish the spiritual world in this material world. That is the mood. That is the mood. So in order to do that, we need to be connected with the agents of mercy, and we need to be very open-minded. Of course, initially we are connected to our Diksha Guru, but eventually also become connected to other devotees also. So wherever the principle of Guru, the principle of pure devotee manifests, we have to accept that. We have to accept that. And the more we accept, the more we grow in our Krishna consciousness. Just like in the spiritual world, a uh, new gopi or a new gopa, they are trained by different associates in different ways. Different associates teach different arts in the spiritual world. So in the same way, also in this world also, as we are walking the path of perfection, we can be inspired by different devotees in different ways, and that's what we have to do. Ultimately, we have to be connected to um, devotees who inspire us, and we need to try to figure out how can we practice our Krishna consciousness so that we can become more and more attracted to Krishna. We can become more and more attracted to the principle of pure devotional service. So, if we are very sincere and very prayerful, then Krishna will reveal within our heart to take shelter of different pure devotees. Of course, time is always a limitation, but the point is that it's like the more pure devotees we have in our life, of course, our spiritual master is has the most prominent role because he actually conveys our surrender and our service to the Supreme Lord. So we should never think that by accepting more pure devotees in our life, our relationship with our spiritual master is going to become weakened, or something like that. No, as we accept more pure devotees, our connection to our guru will become stronger and stronger and stronger. So the more we have pure devotees in our life, just like example is given, just like a periscope. I don't know how many of you have used a periscope. So a periscope, I don't know about telescope, but at least a periscope. So a periscope has ability to bring far objects nearby. So the way the periscope does that is a periscope actually uses a combination of different lenses. So the more pure devotees you accept in your life, the more they will act like the lens, and they will bring the Supreme Lord uh, close to you, close within your experience. So yeah, it's a very important principle in our Krishna consciousness. And yeah, the most important principle in this whole Krishna conscious movement is actually, um, forgive me, I'm not qualified to speak, but most important principle is actually greed. Greed is the most important principle. So we need to cultivate this greed according to our adhikar. So, like for example, you see Srila Prabhupada disciples, they have so much greed, like genuine greed to serve Srila Prabhupada, to hear from Prabhupada. No. So the real association with pure devotees of the Lord is actually hearing. Hearing. Hearing becomes very effective when we have attraction for that person. When we are spontaneously interested in following the ideals of that person. You know, it's um, like sometimes when we hear, the songs of the pure devotees, we're like, wow, I wish I could taste that. When we're in that association, we experience that, and then when they leave, it goes away, unfortunately. You know. So, no. Like one day, Gracie Prabhu, just few days ago, he was practicing harmonium. And when he was singing, I was like, wow, it's amazing. Just when he was singing, I was feeling like, literally, I was feeling like spiritual world is just being created in front of me. It's like, wow, incredible, incredible. So that's the power of pure devotees, exalted devotees of the Lord, that by their sound vibration, they can actually create uh, the spiritual world. And so we have to hear from them. So Krishna arranges in our life association with pure devotees in such a way that certain pure devotees really touch our heart, really touch our heart. And the reason why Krishna does that is because Krishna wants us to hear from them. That's why Krishna arranges that in our life. Because meeting a pure devotee is not a matter of taking a flight or taking a plane, or it's not a material arrangement, it's completely divine arrangement. So yeah, so the real association will happen by hearing, by deep desire to transform, deep greed for getting their mood, you know, and by this hearing process. That's why prayer is very powerful. Prayer is very powerful in Krishna consciousness. Prayer actually is our only savior. Prayer is our only savior. The more we are prayerful in our spiritual life, the more we make very powerful progress. And especially prayers of the pure devotees. That is, that is very powerful. Very powerful. It's like, of course, many devotees are a wonderful example, but you see, like, His Grace Rohinandan Prabhu, that it's like he is a person who is, like, um, fit for receiving mercy, because he is always ready to serve. Like anytime, day or night, midnight, morning. If you immediately tell him service, immediately you will see, a spark in his eyes. Wow, service! Yes, yes, yes. That is the qualification, uh, to actually get mercy. That is a qualification to get mercy. So that kind of you know uh, spontaneous desire to serve uh, pure devotees of the Lord will give us a lot of mercy in our spiritual life. We see the example of Prahlad Maharaj. We see the example of any pure devotee of the Lord, right? Srila Prabhupada. Like, what must have been Srila Prabhupada's desire to serve, that even in those years when Srila Prabhupada did not have any support, even then at that time, um, Prabhupada was so enthusiastic to spread the message of his spiritual master. So I just want to end with a very special video. It's a very heart-touching video, actually. Um, just want to play that video. It's very wonderful, actually. Um, yeah, so hold on, let me share that. I will end with that. Of course, I shared with two devotees here already, but yeah, it's very special, actually.
Why we have to preach that one?
Huh?
Why we have to preach?
No. This is by Bhaktidev Damodar Maharaj. The title is How to Stop the Chatters of the Mind While Chanting. That is the title, but what is it? The mood is very nice, actually. When sharing audio, should I do mono or stereo? Mono is better, right?
I don't know. I think stereo.
Stereo is better?
Yeah.
Okay. It says high fidelity. That's okay? What should I do? Sharing sound on devotees online, should I do more?
Share sound directly will not have these two things. It will only ask.
No, it gives these two options, that's why. You see this.
You click here, you click here. Audio setting.
Yeah.
Play it. Just play it will come.
Yeah. So I'll share this also on Vaishnav Sangha, but this is very nice actually.
None of our chariots only chant without prayer. All our chariots prayed. They are full of prayers. Prabhupada prayed constantly. So we have to learn how to pray to Krishna. Prayer means what? We are presenting ourselves before the Lord for the mercy. Like Bhaktivinoda, I just mentioned 2 prayers from Bhaktivinoda. He has expressed himself, a confession. For Krishna, I don't have strength to chant the holy name. I don't have strength to control my mind. I don't have the strength to control my senses. I don't have strength to do things. Therefore, I'm begging you, please become my senses, become my intelligence, become my mind. This I pray every day. Every day. Become my director. The last prayer of Bilvamangal Thakur and Krishna Kanamrit. He's praying for Krishna. Wherever my mind goes, wherever my mind goes, please, I beg you to be there for me. I beg you to be there for me. Become my mind. Become my intelligence. Become my senses. Become my director. And my spiritual master, he prayed, my dear Lord Krishna, free will is my problem. I don't know how to manage my free will. Therefore, I'm begging you, please take my free will and manage it for me. This is a powerful application or supplication, right? Supplication. It's a powerful. Especially when these are done mindfully. We are really conscious of this. We really mean what we are praying. That will affect the personality we are praying to. Krishna or the Acharya. We are praying to them. This is one way. Second way, we should not read our scriptures philosophically alone. Our scriptures should not be studied philosophically alone. We should learn how to connect with what we are reading. For me, when I read, I'll make a prayer from it. From what I read. I'll construct a prayer from what I read. What I hear, I'll construct a prayer. You cannot do this if you are not attentive. And you cannot be attentive if we are not feeling tired of material existence. We can't pray with feelings if we are still comfortable in this material world. So we should seriously pray to Krishna. The Krishna sees our intention. He will start making arrangements to keep you in the. Krishna will put us in constant anxiety, so we pray constantly and forget about problem. Krishna will put us in constant anxiety. Oh, this is there. Oh, this is there. Oh, this. So you are constantly praying and thinking of Krishna. This is secret.
So yeah, it's wonderful, something wonderful I found recently, so I just wanted to share. Thank you very much. I have no realization of qualification. Please forgive me if I spoke anything wrong. Vanchakalvatarubhyasya kripasindubhyeva paitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnav. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Yes. Anyone has any question or comment?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranams. Jai
Yeah.
Srila Prabhupada. Prabhuji, can I speak something?
Sure.
So, Prabhuji, when you were the point that you brought about Periscope and hearing from pure devotees, that point was very nice, Prabhuji, and I was just reflecting on that point, like how Avanti Brahman also says, right? There are 24 gurus. So that only I was thinking that Prabhupada told us, right, that we can have one Shiksha Guru, but so many Diksha Gurus, because we can learn so much from so many things from so many pure devotees. So this is not a question, Prabhuji, but just gratitude for bringing that point up, that we are actually surrounded by a lot of devotees, and every devotee has been blessed by Krishna in some particular way. So when we see the goodness, of course, pure devotees, everything is good. But even when in the devotees that we deal day to day, there is so much something so special that the devotee is connected to Krishna with. If we can just see that quality and be grateful for that quality, that Krishna, you allowed me to see that quality, that itself is a big thing. And of course, hearing makes a lot of difference. And just this point that when devotees share things like this video that you shared, it is so impactful. And when we share among ourselves, the point that you said, this is service to devotees, because we never know what a devotee is going through. And when we hear these uplifting videos and see these uplifting videos, some message from Krishna touches us somewhere. So just wanted to thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. So nobody else anything will end here. Vanchakalpatarubhyasya kripasindubhyeva patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnav. Namo Namo Ananta Koti Vaishnav. Jai Shri